Hello and a warm welcome to this knitting podcast, Knitting by the Seaside Farm, and me, Brid Knitting Nerd. Hello and a warm welcome back to my knitting podcast called Knitting by the Seaside Farm, or Knitting at the Seaside Farm. I am not sure about it. And me called Brit. And in the Norwegian I called myself Brit Strikkenerd in this podcast word. But if we translate it in English, it will be Brit Knitting Nerd, I think, yes. And I live in Norway on a little small island called Frøya that is in Trondelag. The nearest town in this area is Trondheim, if you will look at the map and see where I live, yes. And here I live on a little farm where we have a lot of sheep and other animals. And in the real world, I am a teacher, music teacher, and work with the youngest people, the little ones, about baby songs. And I also have a children choir and sing a lot myself too, yes. And when I not do the work, I am a knitting person, you know. And at first, I have to thank all of you that was looking at my last episode, and come with the lovely comments and thank you, say hello again to me. And yes, I was so grateful for your response. It's helped me a lot to go forward to this podcast word. And now I come a little not so long about in between this episode, because I want to do it often. That make me practice this English lot more, so it can go a little more normal, I hope, and not babbling and knoting. That's a little humping English. I think you can say, yes. And today I also sit outdoors in this lovely autumn weather we have in Frøya today. A little sun come down to my corner, and it's so lovely to sit out and do this podcast, I think. And I have to use the time and when I can, because in the winter it can be very difficult to play it and make it outdoors. Yes, it's a very windy island, and that it's not so good when you shall make a podcast outdoors. But now it is a good day and a good weather, and it's not so windy, and then it's lovely to sit outdoors and talk with you and babbling of my knitting word. Yes, that is what I want to share. My joy of knitting, my joy of yarn, and I want to share it with other knitters in the whole world. Then I do it in English. Yes. Self-home, I'm not so good in English, so I have to excuse me. But I do as good as I can, and I get a little better every episode, I think. Yes. And I love that you help me with the comments. The last time, dear Susan, you helped me a lot with explained what this little knitting bag I had, that I don't get the right word, and she said she thinks it's called waxed canvas, yes, what I call the voxduk, yes. And it's made of waxed canvas. And when you use that waxed canvas, that your knitting get dry and not dirty in the bag when you are outdoors. Yes, it was a very good project bag to have with myself when I go to this music festival I talk about in the last episode. Yes, so thank you very much that if you try to help me with in your comments if I not find the right words, that do that I can learn something new and can get better to talk in this podcast. Yes, so grateful that you help me, and you also help me with that I not come to the right word in this end of the jumper sweater I talk about, and that is called a cuff. Yes, I know. So thank you. Yes, we shall talk about knitting, and I sit with this lovely cup, mug, coffee mug, tea mug, and it has this pattern on, and this pattern is called Ingrid in Norwegian. It's from a Norwegian pattern that they have made this mug of. Yes, Ingrid mug. Yes, it's a lovely pink color of mine, and I have this pattern also, so I can knit this Ingrid pattern if I want. Yes, but not now. Yes, and what have we done since last episode? What have we done finished? What is been finished? Yes, you see it here. I have been finished with this shawl called Baro. Oi, here is a. Do you see? It's a little. Oh, perhaps it can fly away. I don't want to be. Oh, it's a very slow bee. Yes, an autumn bee. You have to say goodbye, my dearest little autumn bee. Yes. So. And then she go away. Yes, you get little nature when you are outdoors, and there was a little fat little bee from autumn season. But I was talking about this Baronessa shawl that a Norwegian designer called Gundirin Simonsen has designed. And in the last episode I said that some of her pattern, her shawl pattern, was right in the English, but that was not true. It has not been finished yet. A lovely knitting podcaster called Elo in A Knitter's Mind, that she live in Norway but have English speaking YouTubes that I recommend warmly, and she is working with this translation from Norwegian to English of some of Gundirin's shawl. So wait and see, and I shall tell it in this podcast when it is been finished. Or you can go to Elo, A Knitter's Mind podcast, and hear about it when she is finished. Yes, but here is my finished shawl, and I so satisfied. I so happy with it. Happy heart, always happy heart when I get finished with something. And here you have this little border at the end. That is the special with the shawl, is very easy knitting, and it's you start in this end and you not increase, you know. Oh, this word I have practiced before. So a little yes, increase with one in the end, I think. Yes, and you get this with a knit a little hole. You get this fine little border at the end. Oh, it's very long shawl, you see. And I have used a gradient yarn, so you get this different color in the same colorway. Yes, and I love it. It's a happy heart. Always a happy heart when you get finished with something. So now the Baronessa shawl is finished, and I shall take it here, I think. And I am in knitting along in Norway called the hat under your head. That is Norwegian podcaster Marit Garnkaos has make, and we make a new hat every month. And in August, I am a little back to this knit along. We make this a pressed flower hat of a designer called Amy Christophers. And this pattern is in English, so you can also knit it if you want. It's a very funny pattern with this technique with the wrong. You take this wrong and right mask and take the thread behind, so you get this funny waving pattern. I can call it. Yes, it's a funny technique, and you get these lovely flowers in this. She has written in this pattern. It's so easy, but it looks so nice and a little spicy, yes. I think schmecky, fine, delicious. Yeah, I think it will be. Yes. So the hat is finished. I have just come here, I think, at the last episode, and at the last week I knit it finished. Yes. And here you see me with this pressed flowers hat, and I talk about it last episode. She has many different pattern in this specially pattern pressed flowers, and I would love to knit this jacket, and perhaps I have to write it down as a challenge to next year, the 2024, the pressed flowers jacket cardigan of Amy Christopherson. It's on my top of list because it's so funny to knit this special technique in this, so get this flower, I think. Yes. Oh, you hear, I must practice, and I must babbling, forgot to tell you what I mean. Yes, and then I perhaps use a little different words, and it's a humping, that I told you before. But pressed flower set is finished. And so a little easy here also. This plain vanilla socks. I found a pattern in Ravlery from McKiernan, but when I shall take a look at the pattern now, that it was gone away from Ravlery. The picture is there and the pattern is there, but you cannot get the pattern out. Yes, but it is a plain vanilla socks, and I will think you find something else in the Ravlery that is just similar. And I use a yarn from England called Pixie Yarn, a Susan from the Somerset area. And just now she has make a lot of different gradient to match with the Stephen West knit along. The geo gradient, he call it. I shall not be in this knit along, but perhaps you shall. And then you can go to the Pixie Yarn and get a lot of tips and yarn to buy that can pass into this knit along of Stephen West from Pixie Yarn. And my Pixie Yarn is a rainbow yarn, you see. It got all this rainbow color down, and I think it's so beautiful. And it's just a perfect festival socks, I think. I knit it when I was in this music festival I told you about in the last episode, called End of the Road, that is in the Dorset area of England. And I was finished with one and have come to this end, to the cuff. Then it's also called the cuff, I think. Yes. And knitted all this last week. And now a pair of socks finished. Oh, it's a good work, I think. When you get finished with 3 things at 1 week. give myself a little challenge the last week. I set 5 crochet bags on my table, and I told myself I have to finish 3 of them before I could cast on something new. And then I made. Yes, you see, 3 things I get on my needles. So, just now I have to take on my jumper. It is autumn and it is little colder. That sun is shining here on this island. I feel the colder weather. Yes, it's a poncho I take on me. Luna swancho, you can call it. Swancho is something in between a jumper and a poncho. And this is also a Norwegian designer that had made. She is called Gro Tveitstøl. I have to say she has also not any pattern in the English, but it's very simpler and easy to knit, and you can find it in Ravelry. And because I take on this, it's cold weather, and because I knit something else of Gro Tveitstøl, and I just cast on a shawl of her. This is in this children cancer donation. We all knitters in Norway have his heart on this children cancer donate in these days, and we donate money and we knit together, and yes, all of the things. And I have a little yarn ball from a Norwegian hand dyer called Hettstrik. It's a lovely color in white with something gray and brown in it, and it's have a little glitter. It's not so easy to see just now, but it's very nice. And this is a shawl designed just for this children knitting along, children cancer knitting along. So I have cast on and hope to get finished with it in the last of September. It's an easy pattern also, but Gro is very good to have these pieces of pattern. One piece and you get a new pattern piece, and a new pattern piece is very easy to knit and go into the pattern. So it could perhaps you could do it even if it's in Norwegian. Filippa shawl it calls, and Filippa is a name of a children that unfortunately yes, sorry, to died in the children cancer years ago. Yeah, a lot of years ago, I think. I don't know how many years it was, but it has get this name of these children, this shawl, Filippa shawl. Yes, and that is on my needle just now. And I have something finished also that I will finish in this summer. Some big hats. It's called omtanke hat in Norway, but perhaps you can call it caroling knittings in English. Caroling hat. Yes, it's a little knitting with caroling. Yes, a careless knitting. Yes, perhaps you can call it. I don't know. I knit it with a very bulky, super bulky yarn called Nature from a yarn company in Norway that not exists anymore, called I lie. Yes, I think perhaps it's exists. Gestalt. Yes, but it's a super bulky yarn from this place that I have in my stash for years. I buy it about 18 years ago because it was a little store, a little shop that not should be anymore, and I got about 4 kilos of this yarn, and it's never stop ending in my stash. And this hat I use about 100 gram in both of them. Yes, it's very, very fast knitting, and I shall give them to a helping organization in Norway called in the church, I think. Yes, in this Kirkens Bymisjon, we call it in Norway. Yes, they in October they collect warm clothes to give to they who need it in this street. Yes, so I think I shall take this with me to Trondheim. Yeah, when I shall go there in October to sing in the vocal competition, in the from nation competition. Yes, yes, my vocal group shall be in there. That you can hear about something in another episode. But this hat is made of Norwegian designer called Remi. Yes, I can write the name down here. It's a free pattern you can get in this Facebook group of him, but it's not in English, I think. But it's a very easy knit pattern. This also is all of the things I knit is easy these days. Perhaps I need it. Perhaps I need some easy peasy, because my brain is not so fast thinking in these days. But you can knit everything. Easy things, difficult things, happy things. Yes, necessary things, all of the things. But in these days, it's also something else that happened in my life, in my brain. In this season, I always look forward to Christmas. Yes, and I know some people can think it's very early to begin to talk about Christmas, but no, if you shall make things to Christmas, it's not too early. And now in September, I think I can talk something more about it, because then yeah, it's more legal to talk about Christmas now, and instead of talking about Christmas in the summer days. But it's 14 weeks to the Christmas Eve, and it's about 100 days to Christmas Eve, so we have to start talking about Christmas, I think. Yes, in the Norwegian knitting words, I know as a very Christmas person, that I'm in love with Christmas, and especially in the days before Christmas, I love the most of all. I love to plan before Christmas. I love to make things before Christmas, and that I love most of all it is to make calendars. Christmas calendar I make every year, and I also change Christmas calendar with others, yes, in my Norwegian podcast word. And I have I not find the word. I not bytte. I said it in this few minutes. I have to go to see it. A little minute. Back again. now I find the word. I have to look what the word was. This is to swap. Yes, we call it in this knitting word. We swap yarn and we swap pattern and we swap Christmas calendars, some of us. But I wondering, perhaps someone of you will swap a calendar with someone else, with me, perhaps. I draw a link, I draw little things in Ravlery, my Ravlery group, knitting. I write it on knitting by the seaside farm. You find it in the Ravlery group, and perhaps someone will swap a calendar with me or someone else. But then I don't think about the calendar of 24 days, or you in the England have 25 days, I think. I think we could swap a gift, a packet, every Sunday in Advent, you know. If you have one gift in every Sunday of Advent, you will get 4 presents, and you can also get 1 present of Christmas. Yes? Have that be the idea? Is there something that you could think about? Swap a Christmas calendar with someone else or with me. And it has been lovely. I shall write a little thing in my Ravlery group and ask you, then we can chat about it, and we have to decide it very quick, because this calendar have to be in sending in the post in good time before the 1st of December, perhaps already from Norway in the last day of the October, I think. I see that I sent a packet in Ireland and it took 7 weeks, I think. Oh, it's awful. You can I could walk from Norway to Ireland with a packet. It got faster than it get with the postman. Oh, I don't like it. But that was a calendar talking. I was only wondering, and chat about it in my Ravlery group if you want to chat about it. Yes, and talk a little more about it. I'm so curious. Is there anybody out there that could think about to swap calendar? But not every day, only Sunday in Advent. Yes, but Christmas. I have this challenge from Christmas, and I think in my episode now, forward from to the Christmas, you can be with me that I prepare for Christmas in my knitting word and in the other words too, in my life. And in this first episode of Christmas preparing, yes, knitting, it is about knitting. Because when I show you this hat, I talk about this super bulky yarn that is been in my stash for so long time, and now I have to take it away, I think, and that shall be something that I can knit as a Christmas gift. That is a practice Christmas gift, I would say. That is a felted seed pad. I think it's called it, a felted seed pad, and I already knit one. Yes, and this can get a good Christmas gift from someone that I know is very happy to go into the nature, and I shall knit a lot of them, and a lot of them. I not get a lot of them because I only have this again left from this super bulky yarn, Nature Soft, and I think it will be enough for about 4 seed pad. Yes, and here is one, felted, finish, and I cast on 60 stitches and use 4 balls, 200 gram, yes, and then it's finished. And I throw it in my washing machine and on 40 grade, and whoa, here is the first Christmas present. Yes, And when I shall take it on and pack it on, so like this, and I shall have a nice thread round, I think. So, that is the first beginning of this. See what Brit is prepared for Christmas, and this time it was this Christmas present, and now I shall use some time, the focus on to finish this super bulky yarn and say goodbye to it from my stash that has been in my stash for 18 years. It's time to say goodbye. And I have something else idea. In Norway, this season, in this autumn season, is a lot of rowan berries. All the place over my area we have rowan berries. It's so beautiful, and you see me walk here in this next to my house with my dog, and if you look back you see one of my little lamb. Yes, little Ludwig is follow me or everywhere I go. But there you see also these rowan berries, and I think in this next week I shall take a lot of these berries in and make some raw-berries heart, as you see in this picture, and that I can use to fix up my packet to Christmas packet, or some decoration to Christmas. So it's a good idea. So perhaps next time I shall show you some raw-berries heart that I have made. Yes. So in each episode you get little Christmas talking from me. Yes, you get. I hope you will like that. Some coffee and breathe a little. Yes. But I have also started knitting to something else. Something color explosion. Color explosion. Yes, I will think I can call it a color explosion. When I was in Oslo, I get in this knitting store called, in Norwegian, strikkefeber. In English you can call it knitting fever. And when I come into this store, it was similar to go into cotton candy. Yes, because this color and this yarn that is called fat mohair is a really fat mohair, had this vanvittig fantastic color. Whoa! See, I like this. Oh, it's so amazing, and this was in the sale. Yes, it was a little rest that I found, and it was enough to make a jumper out of it. And the name of it is a flash of light, and that I will say is a right name for this yarn. And I have started with this jumper. And you see, here is the ball, and here is starting in this little jumper that will get breathed me as a flash of light in Frøya. And I think so funny, it's so hard jumping to knit of this yarn. It's not that it's very good to knit of. No, I don't think it's a very good knitting. No, this yarn is not a good knitting, no, but it's a funny knitting, and sometimes you have to have a funny knitting, and it's a fast knitting because you use this needle 8, and that is a quick so I not need to knit so much every day, but it's have a quick forward knitting, so it will get quick finish, I think. Yes, but not as some lovely yarn, but it's a funny yarn. So I look forward to get finished with this and go like a flash of light here in Frøya with this lovely color. So wait and see how it go. It's a very easy pattern. Again, a very easy pattern. A lot of easy pattern in Norwegian. This knitting fever has make it themselves, and it's called stripes of cross. Yes, so it's very easy. You have this right knitting, and you get this stripe with the pearl knitting. I say wrong instead, but it's pearl knitting, you know. Yes, so that is on my needle just now. And that was all for today. No, I think before I end this episode, I will talk a little more about Wenche Roald. You know, she with this Wilfreda pattern, this Wilfreda jumper that I have this knit along in my Ravelry group. So be with us and knit Wilfreda with those others. It's someone that have been finished, I see. But Wenche also have a lot of different pattern in English, and especially mittens. And in Norway is a mitten season, and perhaps it is that in other countries too. And I will go through some of her mittens that is in English that you can knit. And I write all down in this Ravelry group that you can find this English pattern, but I can also make a own mittens link in this Ravelry group of this pattern. Yes. So let's go to the mittens of Wenche Roald. The first one I will talk about is the Christmas mittens from 22 that you see here. It's a very typical Norwegian pattern, I will say. And the next one is called Chubba Selma mittens. And this is this flower you see in the mittens. And so it is a lovely, lovely mittens called Flora mittens. And she also have this jacket and this sweater in the same Flora pattern. But I don't think that is in English yet. I don't know. I don't think that. And so it's again Christmas mitten called the Joel tied mittens. And there you see this heart is coming. And so it's a free pattern called Stjärna mittens that you can find in the Järbo. She also makes some design for the Järbo company. That all is free. There is a jacket and the cardigan, yes, and jumper, and also these mittens. And so you have these mittens I know is knitting on, these Scandinavian Christmas mittens that is so fun to knit, and I shall hope that I get a little forward next time that I can show you. And here is they. And so you have this, she called it Selma Petrine Alma mittens, and I think it's a different way to different color you use in these mittens. Yes, and so you get a new Christmas mittens called the Fabulous mittens. I also have it one time, and I gifted it away. That was a very fun and sweet mittens with these little animals on these mittens. So I warmly recommend it to knit them. And so you get these heart mittens that also you can call a Christmas mitten, I think. And so you have these funny mittens called mittens, and you see these little mittens in these mittens. And that's, I think, is a very funny little mittens. So the last one is also a Christmas mitten, and it is a very beautiful, it's the most beautiful mittens, I think. And I love to knit this. And they called the Winterland mittens. Perhaps we shall knit them along together if you want. Oh, or something else of these mittens. So I will write it down, all these mittens that is in English, in write in English, and I hope that can inspire you to knit some more of Wenche Roald, and especially this lovely mitten that she has designed. Yes, that was all for today, my dearest out in this world, in this knitting world. And I hope to see you next week also. And so long, have a good time and knit, knit, knit hearty.